So for today's lesson on hand histories, I have up this poker tracking software. This I decided today to use all the cheapest tools so that I could demonstrate it for beginners and there wouldn't be too much of a cost barrier. This is a poker tracker called Pokeit. It is $5 a month subscription to use. And I've tagged some hands here with the tagging software, and I thought I would go through a few just to show some examples. So most poker tracking software will allow you to replay the hand like so, and if you're a total beginner, the only way that you're going to really be able to start reviewing your hand is by looking at preflop. So like for example, in this hand I am on the button, it says button, with tens. And then we get to see that I was raised by under the gun. So what you might do is you might find some hand ranges and you might say, when I'm versus, let's see, how much did he open? So we're at 4 NL. So he opened 2.5. So versus 2.5 open. I'm in the button and I'm versus under the gun 2.5 open. Actually, it's kind of under the gun plus 2 because of, well, because it's 6. So it's actually kind of like low jack because there's only 6 hands at the table normally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I'm on the button versus the low jack open. I have tens, which means I should call. So you review your hand and you're like, okay, yeah, I did pre-flop right. Now what do you do? Well, let's step back a moment and open up another tool. I've got a tool called Equilab. So here's the tool Equilab. And what Equilab does is it helps you set up a range of your opponents. So my opponent, Benjamin over here, is under the gun, right? So let's pull out Equilab and let's put in what range we think he has pre-flop. Okay, so now let's look at his position. If you don't know the ranges, so we're gonna call it low jack because, you know, because we don't have that many people at the table. Here's an example of a range he might be using in this position. So let's color it in. It's kind of relaxing, right? It's like coloring. And isn't adult coloring books like the next new thing? Well, then everybody should get into poker, right? And you don't have to be exact with this because of course he's not a GTO robot, right? He's gonna be doing some other stuff here. So whatevs, but just as an example, let's fill this in. Okay, so we know he has a pretty darn narrow range here, eh? So let's step through the hand now. Okay, so here's the flop, and what happens? He checks, and I bet, and he raises. So now we look back at what we think his range is, and whoop, we make Equilab way too big. And then we say, okay, what would he be doing this with, right? What would he be doing this with? We have the 10s, so it's, you know, really unlikely he has 10s. Not that he would want to do that with 10s anyway, because he would want to get value. He wouldn't want to scare us off, right? So he might be doing this with some flush draws, which is on this side of the board, the suited hands. So we can actually do suit selection. I'll show you how to do that. You hit suit selection, and then you click all the guys that you want to be hearts. And then you click suit selection again. Equilab is free, by the way. And then you hit hearts. So you're like, okay, maybe he's doing that raise with any heart, right? What else? 9, 10. We didn't have 10, 9 in our opening ranges, but it's possible he has that. Okay. What about Jack, Queen, Queen, Jack? maybe especially queen jack suited, would he be doing that? Maybe. But there's a lot of stuff that he wouldn't be doing that with, right? So let's do some stuff that he wouldn't be raising with. He would raise maybe the nines. I mean, it's kind of foolish to do that, but maybe he's scared of the hearts. Maybe he's gonna raise these guys. He's definitely not gonna raise those guys though. So let's leave it at here and let's move on. By the way, if you're a pro at poker, you can come at me in all of my future 60-second hand reviews. So then I call. I picked bad hands on purpose, by the way. All right, now he's gonna bet huge, right? So the flush came through. I had a heart in my hand, so I was like, okay, well, that's a blocker. So what would he continue to barrel this with? So he's gonna want to do that with all these guys. He might actually want to check something like a nut flush, right? Wouldn't he want to check some of these guys? I think. All right. So what is he betting huge here with? I removed the nut flush type things because why would he want to scare me off that? And so I call because I'm silly. And now an ace comes on the river. He's gonna go all in. So now we know for sure that he's got the flush. Even like trip aces wouldn't be amazing in this scenario.
A nut flush?
So we're gonna say he's got a flush here. And so let's see what he has. Yes, he did have a flush. He was being very aggressive though with the nut flush, so I took that away when I thought he wouldn't be that aggressive with it. So it helps reveal any of your understandings that might be incorrect. So that's how you use Equilab to range a hand. And we'll do these examples occasionally, I think. It'll be good. Yes. Why don't I do one more so I can make like a clip of it? Maybe. Actually, I gotta leave this because I'm gonna review this in several contexts. But I'll remove the Twitch tag. This is Pocket. It's a hand review software that is $5 a month. I'm not selling it. It's just that this is the cheapest tool that does this kind of thing. So I think it removes some of the barriers for beginners. So we're going to show my Twitch tag data. And here's a hand we haven't done yet. So the first thing that you're going to want to do as a beginner is make sure that your pre-flop game was good. So here I raised ace king off, which intuitively you probably know is a good thing, but we're just going to demonstrate. I'm in the big blind and I was raised by MP. So versus it's a 3 big blind open. Let's go. This is Zenith Poker's ranges. And then we're in the big blind versus MP, which is also called hijack. Yes. So here we are. We have the purple is the stuff that we're raising. So first you want to check out your preflop game and go, okay, gold star, good preflop time. Next, you want to pull out your Equilab, which is free. You're going to range your opponents. And this will help you understand the hand, whether you were thinking correctly. All of these hands I chose to be bad, by the way, so it'll be good. Okay, so Shane is in MP. And he was the one who raised us and then called my 3-bet. So what you want to do is versus 3-bet. And we're going to say my 3-bet was a medium size. And he is in MP, which is also in this case called the hijack because we only have 6 positions. And where was I? I was in the big blind. Boom. So here's the ranges. You can see the stuff that he would fold. And there's all kinds of colors full of stuff that he might re-raise or fold. He's definitely going to re-raise some of this stuff, so we're not going to color that in, but we're definitely going to color in just vaguely the kind of stuff he might call with. he might call down to eighths. He might have some stuff up here. It's not exact because, you know, who knows what's going on in his mind here. So let's color in something, maybe a few more. What are some other things he might call with? Stuff like this. That's the kind of stuff he might call with. My 3-bet. Okay, next, here we can actually step through the hand with the viewer too. So this shows it in real time. We have me with my ace king in the big blind. He raised 3x from MP. I raised him. He calls. Here's the flop. So now we watch the action on the flop. This guy is calling my bet. So what would he do that with? Well, he's definitely going to do that with all his aces. We've only got like 1-9 here. We've got these kind of things. He might call with a pair, right? And we also have 7, 8, 9, 10 jack. So jack 10 he might be doing that with. 7, 8, 9, 10 queen. Maybe not with the double gutters, right? So here we go. Oh, great. We're keeping the 9. Let's narrow it down to the kind of things that he would be calling with. And it's going to be something like this, right? So let's take a step through and see what's going on the turn. The turn I'm barreling, and he raises. No, that's like he's scared of this flush draw, right? So what would he raise with? He's not going to raise with kings, queens, jacks, tens, but he might do it with 9s. I don't think he would necessarily do it with 8s, but like maybe he would do it with these aces. Definitely not doing it with king 9. So let's step through. By the way, if you're a poker pro and you disagree with my analysis, please come at me in a future broadcast. So that was how to review hand histories today, and I'm hoping that you can put those to use if you're a new poker player, those strategies, because reviewing your hands is going to be the #1 step towards becoming a better poker player once you've got some strategy started. And don't forget to share those hands with people like me or some trusted poker players who play really well, you know, either way. And if there's any pros out there who disagree with some of these hand history reviews that I do, my 60-second hand histories, please remember to come at me in a future broadcast.